Welcome to this beginner and intermediate lesson on how to play the wonderful song by the Beatles called Norwegian Wood. We're going to do a little bit on the melody, but mostly look at the chords, and hopefully at the end of this lesson you will have something that sounds like this. I want to start this lesson with a quick look at the melody. Now this is in two interesting keys. I'm going to focus on the key that the verse is in, so the main hook of the melody. This is in what's called the Mixolydian mode. Now if we had a normal major, and this is in E, so if we had normal E major you would have E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp and E. And I should say everything I mentioned in this video is included in the free PDF below, so just make sure you have that alongside while you watch this. So that's our major key. The Mixolydian has one note different, and it's the flat seventh. So the Mixolydian has E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D and E. So it's still E major, just with that flat seven note of the scale. Now, one way you could think of this is that's a note of the A scale. So if you had an A scale and started and ended that scale on an E, you end up with the E Mixolydian. So there's two ways of looking at it, but it's the E Mixolydian. It has a flat seven of the scale. That has an effect on the chords as well. So your main chords are E, you've still got E major, you've still got A, your 5 becomes B minor, but more importantly, you get an extra chord on the 7, which is D natural. So that's the main characteristic to Mixolydian, is you get the sound of the 1 and then the 7 and then going back to the 1. That's what I like about Mixolydian, and that was the really clever thing that they did about Norwegian Wood. Instead of writing it in E major, they just flattened that 7 and had an interesting sound. So I think what I'd like to do is let's just dive in and play the melody. I'm going to have the metronome on so you can hear it. The tab of music is on the PDF. We're going to do it relatively slow, so we'll do it about this speed. Just that speed, just so you can get used to how the melody sounds, and the Mixolydian sound comes in bar 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In bar 6, that's where the sound of the Mixolydian comes in. I'll do a 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3 counting. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. B part. 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2. 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Back to the top. Here we go. So if that was a little bit quick for you, don't forget on YouTube you can use the cog down in the corner down here to slow me down to 75 or 50%. So that's just the melody to Norwegian Wood. Nice and simple, all downstrokes actually on the mandolin. Everything's on the beat. And now I want to move on to the main bulk of the lesson, which is the chords. On the PDF below, I have included the chord chart, the full chord chart. So you've got E, D, E minor, A, F sharp minor and B as your 6 chords that you need. So there's 2 ways you could play this, or we're going to look at 2 ways to play this. First is what I would call open. So what we're trying to do is trying to get as many open strings ringing out as possible. So the E, well, all of these chords I'm suggesting you use, but you're welcome to use your own versions if you know something more comfortable. So I'd like you to try this E, which is 4-2-2-0, and your sort of introductory D as well. So E, D. So E, D. So you can hear there's as many strings ringing out as possible there. So that's for the verse. And then when it changes, it goes into like a minor version of E, like an E Dorian. So the E minor I'd like you to use is, again, just your introductory E minor. So O223. A is just your 2-2-0-0, your nice sort of open A. And then F sharp minor. You might think this would be hard on the mandolin, but it's quite an easy chord. It's just 6 and 4 and O. Now I just quite like to use my first and second finger. You can use any finger on 6 and 4, but 6 and 4 gives you F sharp minor. Try not to hit the E string, but it's not the end of the world if you do. It just makes it an F sharp minor 7, which is still quite a nice chord. And then B. So B is quite tricky to do open because we can't have any strings. None of the open strings fit in the B chord. So the one I'm going to do in this exercise is 4-4-2. Now you can, if you can use 2 fingers on 4 and 4, but I can use the sort of fat end of my middle finger to get that on 4 and 4, and then 2 here with my first finger. And the reason I'd like to do that is because you might see that looks very similar to E. To get to E, all I need to do is make my first finger cover the 2 frets and my first finger cover 1. So it's not open, but it's very close to the E we're using. And the least amount of movement we can do, the better, really, the more efficient we can be. So there's our 6 chords. Just maybe pause the video and just have a play through, make sure you can move between them. The rhythm that I want you to play, you've got 3 options. So this is technically a waltz. It's in quite a quick waltz time. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, do, 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 do. So quite a quick waltz count. So anytime you hear waltz, you should instantly think bass, strum, strum. So so just a nice little bum, 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 bum. That's rhythm number 1, or option number 1. Option number 2 is sort of still the same theme, so you still have the dum, 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 but you can fill in a few of the gaps with upstrokes. So you put in 2 extra upstrokes in there at the start and the end of the bar. So instead of, you have, so in context, so it's a bit more of a swing to it. You could do that one. And then option number 3 for chords. Now this is not a natural rhythm for sort of bluegrass mandolin players, but it's what the Beatles do on their recording. And it, again, make sure you're looking at the PDF so you can see it, but it sounds like this. So it's essentially a 2-bar rhythm. So the first bar is, so down, up, down. And then the second bar is, so down, up, down, down. So I'll just loop that round. I'm just going to loop it round on E. So down, up, down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, down. So that's technically how the Beatles do it. to sing and play at the same time, but that is what the guitar's doing on the original track. So you have three options there for what you could do for the rhythm. I think I naturally drift between a mixture of all three. If the melody's quite busy, I'll just keep it nice and simple. But maybe in the middle eight, where there's some big gaps. So on the F sharp minor and the B, I'll be a bit busier with my right hand. The main thing to remember is that your right hand should still be playing down on the beat and up off the beat. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I don't want to see like random. So none of that. So remember 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2, 3. So remember down on the beat, up off the beat, and then the rhythm is up to you. So what we'll do now is we'll play once through, similar to the Beatles do. So their structure is 2 verses and then the middle 8 and then one more verse. So like an A-A-B-B-A format with any rhythm you want, but with the open chords. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Okay, so that is quite an enjoyable way of playing it, and I really like playing chords nice and open, because I quite often play in bands with not many musicians, so I need the mandolin to be as loud as possible and filling out a lot of notes. But sometimes we want to just play a nice closed version so we can play quite short chords and just stay out of the way. Now, in a previous lesson, I talked about an A minor and A shape that can be moved everywhere on the mandolin. And just to remind you, if you missed it, it's the lesson on minor swings, so if you want to Google that. We have this A shape, so 2, 2, 4, 5, or 2, 2, 3, 5 if you want A minor. And the two things to remember are, what note your little finger on dictates the root of the chord, so it's on an A here, so this is going to be an A something. And then if your middle finger is down, it's a minor. If your ring finger's down, it's a major. So A minor, A major. And on that principle, you can move that shape anywhere on the mandolin. All you're worried about is what your little finger's doing and which one of your middle or third finger's down. So on that principle, we can get all of the chords, all of the 6 chords for this song. So if we go through one by one, we need E major for the first one. So I'm going to put my little finger on the E on the A string, which is fret 7. I need major, so it's my ring finger that's going down, and then my first finger there. So we get 4, 6, 7. That's E major. And then we need D. Now, hopefully you know that D is only 2 notes lower than E, so D is just there. So take your E and move it down 2 frets, so it's 2, 4, 5. So now you've got the same shape. Your fingers don't need to leave the fretboard at all. There to there to there. And then after that, we go into the middle 8, which has E minor. So hopefully you can see, if we're on E major and we're going to E minor, all we need to do is swap our fingers. So our middle finger comes in to make it E minor. So what I like about this shape is there's some really efficient movements. And then we need A major, which we just discussed as the starting point, so 2, 2, 4, 5. And then it gets a little bit tricky, so we need F sharp minor. So first of all, we need to put our little finger on an F sharp. So there's an F sharp up here on E, but that's not going to work. So we need the F sharp that is fret 9 on the A string. And then we know it's minor, so we need our middle finger down, and we make the shape. So it's 6, 7, 9. is our F sharp minor. And then B is just 2 frets up from the A. So 4, 4, 6, 7. Okay, so there's your 6 chords. They sound complicated, but when you break it down, it's the same pattern, just in different places. So E, D, and then E minor, A major, F sharp minor, B major. So just get comfortable with all of those in your own time. And now let's play the chords through again, same speed, same rhythms. You can do whatever rhythm you want, but I always think that these closed chords suit a simpler rhythm better. Because what you can do is, as you hit the chord, you can release the pressure with your left hand to shorten the chord. So the benefit of these shapes, you can get a nice sort of bouncy rhythm going by shortening the chord just by releasing the pressure. So you can do whatever rhythm you want, but I'll be keeping it nice and simple. So I'll be keeping it nice and simple, but it's over to you. I'll give you a count-in and we'll play the tune through again. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. So E minor. So there you have it. You have 2 different ways of playing the chords to Norwegian Wood, and this would apply to any song. So most songs in sort of G, D, A, E, you know, the kind of the basic keys that we reach on the mandolin. You've always got 2 options. You've got open chords, played down here if you want notes ringing out, but then you've also got closed versions as well. And it's up to you. There's no right or wrong. There's never a right or wrong with chords. It's just what you think the situation requires, and what I want to make sure is that you have the knowledge to switch between the 2. Before we leave, I just want to give intermediate players a slight challenge. In the PDF, I've included a harder version of the melody, and all I've done is I've taken the melody and I've added in the open chords. So I'll play that for you now, and the challenge will be over to you. I'm not going to go through it in this lesson. So 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. So the core melody is still in there, and I've just filled in the gaps with the current chord that's being played. My favourite part is definitely the last 4 bars in that. So that's all that's going on there. Feel free to have a go at that and message me if you have any questions about it. I hope you've enjoyed the lesson. Please do hit like and subscribe if you have, and head over to Mando Mike for all the other free lessons, and we'll see you next month.